I was listening to a podcast today, and it was essentially about making friends and having friends. And it did actually dawn on me a bit that there are people out there who don't have friends necessarily, or even have friends, but they're not close with them. They're not deep with them. They don't love them. There's not this closeness to these relationships that you have with your friends. I didn't even think about it, really, about what a life you would be living if you didn't actually have your friends. And I couldn't imagine it. I couldn't imagine a life without friends. The podcast made me appreciate my friends and the fact that I have friends, and made me appreciate the fact that I have the skills and the personality traits to keep friends, because not everyone does keep the friends because of their own fault sometimes. And it never really crosses my mind on the fact that it is given for me that I have such great friends, and that hopefully I am also a great friend back to these people and they think the same. But a life without mates, I can't even contemplate it. I can't even contemplate how lonely that would be. Not only that, but how stressful on the relationships that you have. If it was just me and my girlfriend and I didn't have friends, you don't get that change of perspective. You don't get that different view, that different activity with a different person. You would get on each other's nerves. And not only that, I could be wrong. And if I don't have the perspective of my friends to show me that I am wrong, I'm probably never going to see it. Even the perspective of their lives in comparison to my life, I get a deep appreciation for my existence. And also, not saying that everyone else's is a shit life, but it just gives me a perspective of what other people are going through and what other opportunities people can get. And the podcast was talking about how do you get friends and keep friends. And one thing that stuck out to me, the host was talking about a TED Talk and how I think they got 30 million views on it. And it was about speaking, how to publicly speak. And then they did a video on how to listen, and it only got 3 million views. It's a lot less. And I think people do underestimate the skill of just listening. And I think people underappreciate the skill of just listening, and that your friends may just listen to you. And how useful friends are to just be ears for you, just to get things off your chest to them. And for them to do the same for you. I think you underappreciate how much just your ears can add so much value to someone's life. By, if I'm honest, you're doing nothing, you're just listening. I think of a situation that people have been in that I know, where all they wanted was just an ear. And when I was younger, I wanted to solve their issue. That's not always the solution. Because look, I never thought it from this perspective, but found out about a year ago that even me, I didn't want to speak, I didn't want to talk about any problems, because it's like no one can give you the solution. But then once you actually start just talking about the problem, it feels quite good. It feels alright to just talk about it and not actually expect someone to come up with a solution. Just get it off your chest. And most of the time for me, once I do that, the solution comes, which is crazy. That people don't have friends in life is kind of for people to not have an opportunity to have contact with another person in a friendly way is crazy. I think one of the things when I was younger is I almost had an obsession over people just being people. And I kind of made more friends. I made people more my friend, rather than just seeing them every now and again, or, at that group or whatever, or you're just a stranger. The ability to make people your friend quite easily, in my opinion. You don't see the value in that skill. And the fact that I have that skill, that available to me, I should probably use it more. Because there are probably a lot of people out there that do need friends and do need someone to speak to, and you don't really assume that. Because they might not have problems that are major, changing their lives, but they might just be small little problems that maybe they just do need to get it off the chest, and maybe that will just help them. I don't know, the podcast was just a little thing that made me think, yeah, friends aren't just a given. Friends do change your life. For some people, I guess maybe not everyone if they don't see it, but for me, I get to see it now. and it's another way where I'm lucky. But yeah, that's about it. Peace.